The other day I tried Wushu Kung Fu, and if you don't know what Wushu Kung Fu is, I would call this kind of Kung Fu a little extra, maybe. But I figured it looked fun. You know, they got the swords and they're stabbing each other and they're flipping and jumping all over the place. It looks fun, it looks enjoyable, so I figured why not give it a shot? I spend enough time beating myself up. I think it would be nice for a change if I could just do something that looked enjoyable. That is not what I got. What I ended up getting was somehow the hardest 2-hour training session I've ever had.
Just realized I don't have shoes.
So we started off with a warm-up.
What's up, 12?
It'll be 10.
I'm 62.
Alright, backwards.
Wouldn't that just be good out?
Running backwards.
Try not to use the boom-a-foo.
I didn't think you were supposed to die in the warm-ups. Is that a thing? Now, I would call myself in pretty decent physical condition. I spend pretty much all of my free time exercising in some sort. I played football in college, but within like 5 minutes of this warm-up, this is the most physically demanding warm-up I've ever done in my whole life. And it's just like moving your body. That's it. There's no people, there's no weights. This is my Sifu Imari. She is an incredibly lovely person who I did not, on this day, think was going to make me suffer. I suffered. Holy smokes, man. I'm not unflexible, right? Inflexible. I'm not non-flexible. I'm not it would be in, right? Inflexible. I'm not anti-flexible. That's not it either. I'm not stiff. But man, there's something about being next to these kids that just made me feel like an old man. An old man in pain. But that's kind of like Wushu's whole thing, is that being in pain and embracing the pain.
Kung Fu translates to the development of skill through hard work and effort. So basically, if you're not working hard, you're not doing Kung Fu.
That's so cool.
And it's like, it's great if you can have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
But you're not here to have fun. You're here to develop yourself. And you grow through challenge, right?
Give me a thumbs up.
So listen, I'll be the first to admit that I didn't really know what Wushu was. I knew that there was like different types of Wushu. I just know that this is the martial art where they do the cool demonstrations and stuff.
So the word Wushu, Wushu translates to martial arts.
Okay.
So that word in itself refers to just all martial arts.
Oh.
But usually when you say wushu, you're referring to like contemporary wushu,
Okay.
which is like contemporary Chinese martial arts.
What is the Wushu that we know today?
It's basically a sport. Earlier when it was first created, it had a lot more technique.
Okay.
Then because of like performance and competitions, they started beefing up what we call nandu,
Okay.
which is like the difficult movements. So we're talking about like acrobatics, like the jumps, the sweeps, the rolls, the flips, and all that.
From the warm-ups, we moved on to basic kicks. Now, these kicks are basic in nature. It's just a front kick. But the way they do even their most basic kicks is extravagant. It's up, like it's snappy, it's fluid. And you look at this and you're like, well, that's not really martial arts. Like, that's arts. Sure, but is it martial? But I'm confident that getting hit by any of these kicks would hurt. I think what's so crazy about the premise of Wushu is the level of difficulty. Like, these are very basic kicks. They're not hard kicks, but the way that they do them is the difficult part. With Wushu, man, you're using every muscle that you can think of, not only with power, but with immense flexibility. So I really underestimated the way that they trained their body. Then we moved on to their more advanced kicks. Now, being a good karate boy, I've done plenty of advanced kicks. They don't look like this.
Yes. Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That is complex. Okay.
There was gonna have to be some adapting that happened. An adapting, if you will. That's not a word.
There you go. Jump kick.
You guys go first. How do you not make the noise? Is that a thing? Can the judges hear you if you make the noise?
Well, usually it's pretty noisy, so I don't think the judges will necessarily hear you.
Okay, good deal.
There's a lot of noise, actually.
Okay, cool. So yeah. So is there a scoring system?
What would you give that?
So like Sifu Imari mentioned, the main purpose of Wushu in this contemporary form is to compete with others in these demonstrations or forms, or they call them...
Taolu.
Okay.
Taolu is forms. With modern wushu, you can go one of two ways. There's forms, and there's sanda, which is kickboxing. And usually, a person specializes in one or the other, and it doesn't really overlap a whole lot.
Oh, okay.
When you specialize in forms, it's more performance art, right? Unless, you get somebody who wants to dig deeper.
Right.
But it's like they're wonderful athletes, and there's like the essence of what they're doing, but they're not actually going to go fight with it. And I think that's
Right.
where the controversy comes from.
Can you say it again? Wushu?
Yeah.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
You're just gonna give it to me? That's fine. So that's my goal for the day. Replicate these forms to the best of my ability, and then they will all judge me, kind of like they would be judged at a competition of their own. Brings us to our first form, and I guess our first test. Now, I would imagine these forms didn't just come out of the blue. These forms are an expression of what their bodies are capable of, in my opinion. These are all martial arts moves, but they're put together in a way that is like, it's much flashier, it's much more, I mean, I've said the word like 17 times, extravagant, I guess, or extra for short.
Ready? When you say set, you're gonna bring your hands into fists and look to your left. You're gonna take your left foot, mabu. You're gonna shift your stance into a front stance, punch. You're gonna shoot like a spear through. You make a hook. You're gonna turn this way, palm strike. Step forward, palm strike. Shift your stance into your left foot, palm strike. Good, that's like the first kind of half. Do you wanna keep going? From here, left hand touches your toes. Come up, kick. Front stance, yep. And then here, chamber, salute.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
See, you did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I kind of got
The
it.
basic form I thought was easy enough. It was a little longer than I expected, but with a little bit of help, I got through it.
If you're thinking to yourself right now, wow, Seth is doing an amazing job. One, thank you. Two, you're absolutely right. But that doesn't last very long. You can probably see it in my face right about here. Everything in my brain from here on out is a big jumbled wushu mess.
I did it wrong again, didn't I?
Yeah, right hand hook behind you. There you go, toes. Left foot in, here again.
Okay, so what was the final score?
He gave you 8.
Okay.
Really generous.
Thank you.
Final score is 7.5.
7.50. Okay.
There's a set of guidelines, and if you miss something, for example, if your horse stance is too high, they take points off. And so in the end, everybody will have a similar score. They take out the highest and lowest, and they average the middle. And
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And that's how I came to 7.5?
we don't have the guidelines, so just a rough estimate.
Yeah. And so that was out of 7.6? I'll take 7.5. 8 minutes of training? That was good.
Yeah.
You're a good coach.
So bam, the master, that's me, I'm referring to myself as the master here, out of a sense of irony, is now gonna move on to the more advanced form. So I asked, naturally as you would do, well, what does the advanced form look like? Advanced. It looked very advanced, and it looked difficult, and it was super long. So here's what makes this advanced. One, the moves, right? Easy enough. That's like the moves were hard. It was hard. Two, the memorization of the entirety of that form. That thing was so long. 3, the physical cardio that you have to string all of those things together. Stringing stuff together takes more out of you and your muscles. Like, you can't just like stop, take a break, stand there, and then reorient to do something. No, they're constantly moving. Like, they have an X amount of steps in between each thing. It felt like if one of those really cool dances that you see could hurt someone. And I mean it, these things would hurt. Any of those are legit martial arts moves that have just been put into a form that looks way crazier than it would actually happen on somebody. But if they hit somebody, that would hurt.
Wow, that was crazy. So we're gonna try the first quarter of it.
Let's start off.
Same start, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Set. Chop. Back. Cast. Stop. All right.
Here. Okay.
Rest it.
Your bottom knee is underneath your top one?
Yeah. So.
Distance so that you can sit.
Yeah. So this.
Yeah,
this knee. Yeah. This step you will start the lotus. All right. Little kick. Yep. And you're facing this way. Here. Right over here. And then take a step. Kick. Do that. Yep.
Okay, so we'll call that a quarter probably?
Yep, that's exactly a quarter.
Okay, cool.
So
Cool, because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get up from that.
So I'm gonna shoot you guys straight. I don't wanna make myself look any cooler than I am. Hard to do. I don't know if that was a compliment to me or not. So I'm just gonna show you guys the final product. Not gonna put any cool music over it. I'm just gonna let you struggle with me. It's where, you know, we're gonna cringe, we're gonna laugh, we might cry, but we're gonna go through this together. You know, just us. So, here you go.
Salute. Sit. Go. Go. Go.
Yeah, I might get up. That was hard.
You did really well.
Thank you, thank you. I totally didn't add a cut in the middle because I couldn't do the whole thing all the way through. That didn't happen. What was, oh, we need the score. Here, you guys convene.
If it's in advanced, you get a minimum score of like 7. If it's in advanced category, you get a minimum score. Like as long as you show up and you do it, you get a 7.
He's got the fire.
He's not doing this. It's pissing me off.
Okay, we're ready for you.
So, for the first quarter of my advanced kata, how did I do?
Final score?
Final score?
Steven?
7.45.
7.45.
Okay. So here's the deal. As you,
Minimum score for my division that I just competed in right now that I made up.
I'm actually not 100% sure.
Okay,
I'm
let's say the minimum was a 5.
Oh.
Yeah, 5.45.
That's probably fair. That's fair.
Yes.
I appreciate the honesty.